What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Gamer Guardians podcast. I'm your host, Danny Martinez, a drunken guardian. We do have other people showing up today. We got Kevin Boneless Bones here. He is switching out his PC setup right now, but we do have the Sober Guardian at the moment. What's up, Danny?
Hey,
And Randy, the Ragnarok, he'll hopefully be joining us. He's got some things he's got to take care of right now, so hopefully he'll join us later on today. We'll see about that. But we have two articles that we'll talk about today, actually. One of them, so it's a little bit of a small tidbit of something to talk about, and one, I think it's a little bit more bigger, but also very much a failure, if anybody can tell from the title of the podcast itself. But anyways, welcome back, Danny. We haven't had him for 2 weeks. Danny, what you been up to? What you been playing?
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring, of course.
And Kirby.
Wait, Kate Kirby?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know you bought it.
yeah. I put it when it came out. Champion.
How is it?
It is the cutest game ever. Um, my kids love watching me play. I was saying that my kids love to watch me play. They think it's the cutest game ever.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They
Of
love
course.
it. You swallow the car, or you stabbed it to the ground. Like they just think it's
Yeah.
absolutely incredible. All the
Love
stuff it
Kirby.
does. It's the cutest game ever, and it's not hard
Of
per se.
course. I would think it plays like the last Mario game, the one with the hat.
Yeah,
I forget.
it plays
Yep.
exactly like that. It's almost like they took a Mario fucking they just took a Mario engine and just colored it
Mm.
with pink. But it's very much so. But it's still again it's not hard, but what's challenging is just finding everything. Because you can easily miss statues or the little guys that you have to find and stuff like that. You can easily miss it. The game's quite easy just to run through it, but part of it is that you collect and you get each level you get like 10 you can collect up to 10 guys somehow. Like they have like secret achievement type of thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't tell you what they are at the end after you beat the level. If you missed it completely, I'll tell you. So like the hardest thing is getting them like one stop, one shot, and
Okay.
then they so
Mm.
and then of course if you miss it, then you play the level over again. And you're like really looking for it. So that's what makes it challenging for some people like us, because obviously this game is not going to be on our level.
After dealing with Elden Ring for so long already.
Exactly. So and then they
Yeah.
have a lot of like challenge things to do to get extra stars, whatever you want to call it, that help unlock, you know, because you get every time you go to a new level, you get tons of different enemies you can suck up and use their powers,
Mm-hmm.
and you have like a ward like a trophy case in the main like house because you're saving all the people, and you can choose and pick all let's say you have the they show the little link, they show the link sword. Then you can eventually you can find scrolls to upgrade them. So then
Okay.
they evolve. So now they're like a little more powerful. They look a little bit different and they do a few different things.
So
Like the one that shoot fireballs, like you shoot fire at your mouth, classic fire at your mouth, and then when you upgrade it, you shoot lava at your mouth. That and it stays on the floor for a little bit.
okay.
So
Um
it's really fun and really interesting that way. And again, it's just the challenge. They have a lot of challenge modes, so you can really learn how to use the powers. And the
mm,
challenges, you want to do the challenges because it's really fun. And then again, you really get to learn how to use the powers. And as time activate it, better you do stuff and shit. Yeah. So again, game's great. Game's
Kevin's been playing the Switch game too. Kevin, you want to talk about House of the Dead remake?
Uh, no, I hate that. Okay, so you guys can hear me, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna sound like shit because I try to connect to my computer and it's taking forever. So I've beaten House of the Dead 2, and I've beaten 2 and 3, and for some reason when I played 1 remake, it was like bad voice acting. I know the game is known for bad voice acting, but it is terrible like for now.
It's well,
It's worse.
but
It's
isn't
worse.
that part of the charm,
No,
kind of like Resident Evil?
no, no, because the difference is if they would have just took in the literal audio from the first game and then put it in the remake, it would have been perfect.
Okay.
But yeah, but
So
that's not
these
the
are
issue.
re-recorded.
These are like re-recorded horrible voice acting, and it sounds like shit, and I hate it.
Is it
I
is
played.
it is it like, because I'm picturing it, is it like voice actors trying to purposely sound bad?
No, it's just bad voice acting.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like purposely bad voice acting, and it's like they took the role too serious, and I'm like, no, but it has to be
uh,
goof. It has to be like goofy. There's a lot of what is it? Like system stuttering issues.
oh.
Like yeah, like it stutters. The load times is crazy. Um, the monsters, the zombies look ugly. Like, and I mean ugly in the sense like it's worse than what I thought it would be. Like it was. They look not scary, but the game looks off. Like very off. Like it should have stood like a couple more months
Did they
cooking.
change up the art style or something, or is the graphics are bad, or
The system can't handle the game.
why? Of course, that's no surprise.
No, but it can't handle the game, and playing it, the game looks ugly. Like
Uh,
it looks worse, and the zombies, like the ragdoll physics, just don't make sense to me.
mhm.
Because like you could shoot a zombie and it just like springboards and flies into the ether, and then you just like your character's looking at it like, huh, like this is normal, and just walks off, and then you stutter because you have to wait for the system to be able to catch up for this game, and then I'm like, why?
Mm.
Why would you do this? Um, all in all, the game is like it plays like a regular Resident Evil. I mean, House of the Dead. This the shooting system doesn't make sense to me because it's like to shoot is A, to reload is B, or if you use the trigger buttons. And if they have a one Joy-Con like mode, which I highly do not recommend
Does
because the
it play like
game,
a light gun?
yeah, and it's unreliable. It's almost unresponsive. It's
Man.
very hard to play it. It's better if you play with like if you have a controller. Like if you use both Joy Cons and just like use one to aim and one to shoot, it's
Hmm.
the best thing ever. So what I did most of the game, like halfway through the game, I started realizing that you can use one of the triggers. I think it's the fuck is this? Like ZL. Oh, sorry, ZR is to shoot, and then ZL is to reload. And I was spamming reload while I was shooting. So essentially, I had infinite ammo. Um, some of the animation doesn't make sense to me. Like in the beginning of the game, he walks through the front door, he shoots it, but he pulls out. He's already holding a gun. He spins it, and it looks like the gun is ahead of his hand. And I'm like, what the fuck
Mm.
is happening? So he's like he's spinning the gun, but there's a ghost spinning it for him in front of him, and
Yeah,
then he
it's
catches it and
floating.
shoots the gun. Yeah, and I'm just like, huh. I think
Okay.
this is the glitch. um, the routes is like regular, House of the Dead. It's just like you go one way, you find something, you go another way, you see more survivors.
Hmm.
Uh, and then I like beat the game. And when I beat the game, I didn't feel satisfied. I felt like it was a slug to get through. It was like an hour and 30 minutes of me playing the entire game. Literally first time touching the game, I died at the boss, and then you could literally just skip to the last chapter
Do
and just fight the
you
boss again.
do you have like infinite continues?
No, you have 10. You have
Uh,
in normal you have 10 per stage.
oh.
Uh so I mean per chapter, and there's only like 4 chapters. So and then like the last chapter is just you just fight. It's a boss rush. It's like a couple enemies and a boss rush. And the bosses, the the hit detection on that game for me, it never made sense. It made sense for me in House of the Dead, like for the Wii, and I was like, that one felt like you like using a gun. Here, it's like you shoot the area that you're supposed to shoot for the bosses, and it doesn't register. And I don't understand. Like I was shooting the specific area on the first boss, and I was aiming at it, and I was like, letting it off, like shooting at him, and for some reason it wasn't registering that it was hitting him. And then I was like, okay, that's weird. Sometimes when you shoot a zombie, the zombie still hits you, and I'm like, that his head's blown off.
Mm.
How the fuck is he doing that? Some enemies they deal with like if you blow their heads off, they don't die. And I was like, okay, cool. But you only find that shit out in the gallery, and if you want to wait a minute and a half to go wait for a loading screen, then go to the gallery, then the game to stutter for you going to the gallery, not even hitting the gallery yet, going to the gallery, then you hit A, you go to the gallery, and you have to wait another 30 seconds because the load screens is fucking crazy. Um,
This reminds
and
me of Ghostwire. I've been playing Ghostwire, and I've been like trying to power through it. It's not a bad game, but it's also not like a good game because it's so fucking generic. It's like just everything that you've ever played in a first person like Far Cry ish type game, except it just has magic instead of guns.
And then the magic's not even that much. So I feel like
Yeah,
mhm.
it's three spells, and all you're doing is upgrading those spells. So it's just a fire, it's just a wind, and a water. And then I've upgraded them, and it's like I put in maybe 20 hours into it now, and I feel like I'm heading towards the end of the game, and I'm almost done with the actual how do you say skill trees. They're all
Mhm.
almost upgraded, and I'm just like, man, I can't believe I've even done all this. Like, cause I didn't enjoy most of it, but I just kept on going. I guess just cause you ever get those itches to just want to collect something, like just everything, just cause. Like
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
kind of like how I felt with that game. I was just like, oh, this is a slog, but I want to
Yeah.
try to collect everything, and that's where I'm
D-
at with that.
Dude, I feel that because I found out that you can get better guns. You can get different guns, so you don't have to just stay with the handgun. And like
Mm.
some of the challenges don't make sense to me. It's like complete a whole chapter without reloading. I'm like, mother, how, bro?
What?
I, I have a handgun with 5 bullets. How am I not gonna reload? So I was
That's
looking
kind of
at this
funny.
shit.
That's kind of funny actually.
Yeah, and and then, and then it was like complete a chapter without reloading, complete the entire game without reloading. I'm like, nah, that's cap. The not taking damage one, I was
There's
like,
got to be some sort of mechanic where it auto reloads for you somehow. It that doesn't make sense.
no, you could beat the game with if you have unlimited ammo, but that would make sense. If it's just you
Is
just
that
keep
something you
shooting.
could just turn on right now?
No, you have to beat the. So this is how House of the Dead works. For you to be able to get a different gun, you have to beat a chapter and save all the scientists. Now, if you have a game that advocately, that's how you pronounce the word. I'm botching this. If it purposely makes you miss and you shoot something you're not supposed to, you see the problem here, right?
Yeah.
You kill the scientist. You know how many times I accidentally shot a zombie, but then I because the trigger sometimes shoots by itself for me, it killed the scientist. So I shot the zombie. I was like, all right, cool. I killed. Boom, he dies, and then you lose points for killing the scientist. And I was like, I don't care about the points. I just want to save this scientist so I can get this fucking gun that I'm never gonna use.
Hmm.
And you have to beat the game on a certain difficulty. I'm guessing to get infinite ammo or unlimited ammo that you live. But you technically have infinite ammo. You just reload. That's the only thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't
But
know.
the thing I like about it is that they changed the damage system, the damage. So it's not like you get hit, and then you lose a candle, like how they have in House of the Dead. You get hit 6 times for 3 candles. So it's like they hit the light and then they hit the
Oh,
candle
so
and then
it's
the
two per
candle's gone.
candle.
So yeah, it's two per candle.
Okay.
And I was like, that's cool. I I there was one interaction that I had with a zombie, and it was like the first, I would say, 2 minutes of the mission, and it's like that. It's a zombie that just throws axes like by the bridge, and if you shoot his axes, he kind of just looks at you. He's like, "All right, my job is done," and he just walks off screen, and I'm like he like casually just strolls off, and I'm like, "Why does this feel funny?" I'm like, "This doesn't make sense to me."
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, the game is okay. It's not terrible, but the controls make it feel terrible. That's
So
the problem.
so I kind
It's
of
a
feel
hard.
like this episode is gonna be about us just venting and complaining and talking a lot of shit about people and companies and stuff because that's pretty much what we're gonna talk about with the main topic. But first, before we get to the main topic, I wanted to mention real quick the article that was released yesterday or today. I can't really remember, but I have an article from Game Informer that's out,
Mhm,
and it's about Max Payne. So Max Payne Remedy developed Max Payne 1 and 2, and Rockstar ended
mhm.
up making Max Payne 3. Rockstar did publish Max Payne 1 and 2. I just found that out today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I didn't know that. So they helped publish. So now Rockstar and Remedy are collaborating to make a Max Payne remake 1 and 2. So
Mm.
that's pretty cool that they're doing that. I'm excited for it because Max Payne 1 is my favorite.
Yeah, Max
Uh,
Payne 1 is
Max
really
Payne
good.
2 was okay, and it was mostly just because of the story and the closure and stuff like that. Max Payne 3 was just a big mess because it kind of lost the whole spirit or like the just how the games were because it was like a noir like comic bookish style of gaming and story for
Hmm.
that matter.
Hmm.
So they kind of the way Max Payne 3 reminds me of is kind of like watching or playing Kane and Lynch. If you guys ever played that. Like it was a lot like Kane and Lynch. So I'm looking forward to a remake of part 1 especially and to see how like graphically how that would be and I hope they kind of do something more innovative with the whole bullet time thing since it's already been done to all hell.
Hmm.
It's now like not even a special thing anymore. So I kind of hope they do
Oh,
something more with it. I don't know what do you guys think?
uh, I want his goofy face. I want them to have like if you beat the game on the hardest difficulty,
The
you get the
skin.
this classic skin where he just looks at you with his dead smile, and it's just like I need that in the game. That's the only thing I remember from Max Payne, and that haunted me
just the
since the
same expression the entire time.
yeah, like or it's like a photo of him just looking like that. And he's like, man, I look slimmer or something like that, or some goofy like nod to the original. I mean
Yeah.
the classic, honestly. But I'm always excited for remakes or
I'm
remasters.
excited for how they do the pain pills, if they're still able to do pain pills. 'Cause remember, that's how he basically got life back by taking pain pills.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
sure
so
they'll do it. I mean, Rockstar was never afraid
that's true. Rockstar's not afraid
to
to do
do
stuff
that
like
kind
that.
of stuff. Yeah.
Like maybe show it a little better. Like maybe he'll
Just
have
taking
different
it.
type of pills and taking meth and shit. Like
Whoa,
I don't think they will go that far, especially if they
I
want to
mean,
stick with a mature rating.
meth pain.
Yeah. Meth pain.
meth pain. Not
I
meth, but some
I
kind of some kind of like drug to really fucking give you a boost or something.
yeah.
Like to fall
I
right into the whole atmosphere of him being so depressed because the
yeah, yeah.
story was super depressing. His
Yeah.
wife
Mhm.
and
His
family
wife and
never got
child
killed.
and baby died. Yeah.
Yeah, his
Murdered.
wife and kid died murdered, and it's like,
So, spoilers.
uh, well,
So,
What?
but so
30-year-old kid.
because the thing is, like, there was an old game, Danny. You remember Narc? I think it was
Yeah,
Narc. Like Narc was in hot water for a while when that game was still in
yeah,
development because they were using real drug names. Because the whole thing was like I don't know if it was Rockstar or not, but it was very Rockstar ish type of game. And it was like a brawler slash GTA ish type of game, and you took drugs, and
yeah,
each drug did different effects to you, like buffs. Some of them are debuffs, things like that. You know, you outweigh the pros and cons. You end up turning into an addict and stuff if you take too many of the same drugs and stuff. But because they were in hot water, because they were using the actual names of actual real drugs, they ended up just making up a lot of fake names for the drugs in order to like just at least get a mature rating for it. So if they were to do anything like that for Max Payne, I would think they'll probably go that route.
yeah. That's what
But
I'm
we
talking
get
about. Just keep it, and then, obviously they can make the world, the city, a little more vibrant, and they can explore a lot. Because it was mostly about the underground world, like the
mm-hmm.
subway stations, stuff like that. Is what the game spent most of its time.
It was
But
linear. You think it'd be open world?
yeah, I think that,
Yeah.
yeah, because that was the beauty of it. It was really linear, but it was because that is the limitation of what they can do. So they had to be linear. It wasn't
Mm.
like Grand Theft Auto wasn't even a thing really, or not as big as what it is now. 'Cause even
Yeah.
first Grand Theft Auto is a little time.
I don't know. I mean, let's see. We got Max Payne. Max Payne 1 came out. Oh, geez. I got the Wikipedia on here.
I
Max
remember
Payne
playing that
1
for
was released
PC.
in 2001, and then GTA 3 was when it went 3D. Was it?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
GTA
Yeah,
3?
'Cause I remember one is really bad. Two
GTA 3
is
came out 2001.
about the same.
nice.
So about the same year.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's still the same year, so it still kind of counts. But like, it wasn't really being as done. Who knew it? Nobody really knew that GTA 3 that was gonna become as big as what it is now.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Because now Spider-Man, all these fucking things. I feel like a thanks to GTA really
Hmm.
giving us real world feel. And again,
Hmm.
Max Payne had part of that. They had the subway systems. I remember going in the subway system, like, oh look, it's just like whatever, and
Yeah,
you
those
kind of had
underground
that.
those underground clubs, those
Yeah,
the cults.
yeah, and
Hmm.
you had that feeling of it. It's just obviously they were able to produce this huge game, and again, even the first G, if you play the first GTA 3 game, it's very limited of where you go, where you're
Hmm.
at.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Not huge, so I think they have the ability to create a big game now. When it comes to the
Hmm.
weapons and stuff like that, that's going to be a little more interesting to see how they do that because obviously they're gonna keep it it's very simple, just shooting, and then they did the bullet time. The I think the second part maybe had the bullet time with the sniper gun or something, but still, like they kind of like really put a stable on that. But you can always, no game has really done it as well as Max Payne did because it was intricate. You have to dodge, jump into a room in slow mo, and then try to take people out. It was very cool. So they could still do the exact same thing, but in a much more modern
Hmm.
game, and it would still feel kind of cool. It'd be like, yeah, yeah, this is Max Payne.
Hmm.
I don't think they have to totally reinvent the wheel. They don't have to do like what the Matrix did. With the Matrix, they tried to go instead of slowing bullet time, everything is I'm a guy who totally runs in bullet time. I don't think you go
Yeah.
that.
Did
I
Matrix
don't think
do
you
it
go that
first, or
far.
was it Max Payne?
Max Payne
Max Payne.
definitely.
Max
Max Payne.
Payne.
Max Payne.
We made
Yeah.
fun of. We made fun of it. Some other they copy Max Payne type of thing. But
Uh,
again, it's like
1999. Matrix came out first.
Matrix. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
released
shit.
March 31st, 1999.
I could have swore it was fucking.
when did Max Payne come out?
2001.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's funny. I did not.
Okay. Let let
Could have
let
swore.
let's say this. Max Payne was the first game to
Oh,
do
of
bullet
course.
time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So it is the first.
Yeah, it is the first. It's innovative, damn it.
Yeah, but I like the idea that Sober was giving. I would say the only game that came close, but it didn't make it look perfect with not bullet time. Yeah, it was bullet time. Was Sniper Elite? That's
I
about it.
I haven't played that game since the
I don't know what
first
that
one.
is.
So
Yeah, no, I'm saying with the slow motion.
you mean like with the critical
With,
hits?
with- yeah, with the critical
Yeah.
hits. That was
Yeah, yeah.
that was that was at close.
Yeah.
The closest thing to Max Payne
I
bullet
kind
time.
of I kind of honestly like the concept with obviously they're not going to do this for Max Payne. That's not what I'm saying, but I really like the concept that they did for Super Hot. Did you guys play Super Hot?
Oh yeah, super.
Yeah. So like the concept of that was like it was pretty much it was almost like a first person shooter puzzle game cuz all of time doesn't move unless you do. So you had to kind of like you see the bullets coming towards you and stuff and you had to dodge them, with some good timing while still shooting the other opponents and stuff and moving out the way and stuff and then you get to do all these kind of cool moves and kicking and punching and throwing objects and catching objects and de-arming people and stuff like that and it was really cool. But bullet time for that was I kind of like that.
The throwing the gun was always funny to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
he just he just dodging bullets, just clock somebody with a gun, and they're just like, "Ow, my
And they just
face."
shatter. Yeah, that was really cool. But yeah, I look forward to it. Max Payne, I could see it open world. I hope they do something like that. And honestly, even if it's still linear, I'm still good with that as long as they keep the same vibe that the original game was. It was like a dark, gritty noir type thing, not just woe is me, Kane Lynch looking, typical third person shooter.
Yeah.
Like Max Payne 3 was, which is why I didn't enjoy it. It was I don't know. It was a very generic game to me. But yeah, I hope they kind of stick with that.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm hoping to
yeah.
keep it as is, man. Y'all did a good job with the first two. The third one was a miss,
I
but
got complete faith in Remedy. Remedy they got Control, they got Quantum Break, they got Alan Wake. They've done their games good, so I'm sure they'll be fine.
What if, right, they add Max Payne to the story of Control? Just rope it in.
He himself is like an object of power or
Yeah,
something. Where like
yeah.
he
Like
slows down time, so he's the object.
exactly. You gotta think of it like that.
Or maybe his
Outside
dual
the
pistols are the objects. That's why he could do it with those. I don't know. I'm
mm,
just making shit up. Without further ado, we'll go over the main article today. So
do we have to watch
IGN,
the,
huh?
do we have to watch the video again?
No. It's a 30-minute video. Hell no. No,
Okay.
it's a 33-minute video. You guys can check it out on IGN. So IGN, Colin Moriarty, he had announced, I believe it was on Twitter, that he got a last minute interview with Hasan Kahraman or Kahraman. I don't know how to pronounce his name, which is the head developer at Blue Box. And everybody knows Blue Box right now, the whole controversy going on with their game Abandoned, which is a game no one has seen, no one has heard of, no one knows what the game is about, no one knows anything about this. They've gone through a lot of really bad marketing with the game because they try to make it out to be a Silent Hill game, they try to make it out to be a Kojima game. There's a lot of conspiracy theories about this, and there's a lot of confusion about what Abandon is even now after it's been what 2 years now.
Hmm.
And there's all these promises of releasing teasers, there's promises of releasing demos. They have an app on the PlayStation Store which they said they were going to release a prologue, which was literally a 5-second video of someone walking, and it just infuriated people. So a lot of people are saying that, Karaman is a fraud. He is a scam artist. He's just trying to get money and possibly just make a run for it. He's probably evading taxes for some reason because he is located somewhere in Europe. I forget where he is. But anyways, so he finally wanted to set the record straight and finally just reveal the truth, quote unquote, the truth about everything that's going on with this company. By the way, there's also, if you go to the Blue Box website, it says that they have a team. I believe it's like 9 from the last time that I checked, but with
Hmm.
no actual like links to their portfolio, no links to their social media. All there is names. Nobody knows who these people are. Nobody knows who the rest of the team of Blue Box is aside from Hassan. So Colin Moriarty finally got this interview to clear everything up, and it was a complete mess. If you guys check it out, you will notice that he asks one question, and Hassan has a huge habit of how do you say, just blabbering on. He just goes on and on and on, stumbling over his words, kind of like contradicting some of the things that he previously said. I wrote down a couple of the things that he mentions on the interview, which was, what was the delay about with, Abandoned in the first place? Why haven't we seen any gameplay yet? Why is there no mention of the team? Why is there no mention of the funder of the backer of the game itself? Because he mentions that the game was originally a Kickstarter, which failed, and they got themselves someone to actually invest in the game. Fails to mention who the investor is. And then also what happened to the previous games that Blue Box had dealt with. So another thing that has kind of followed them in their bad reputation is just the fact that Blue Box has tried to develop other games in the past and failed on every single one of them. They made a promise for
Hmm.
one game, said this is in development, canceled. Another game, development, canceled. Another game, development, canceled. So Hassan went around in circles explaining why those things were canceled. And I don't know, I can go on and on about this, but this interview actually just put Blue Box in an even worse light because it either sounded like excuses or a lie or still a scam in some sense. So what did you guys think of this interview?
Sober, you want to go first?
I just I had I had a hard time watching it
Hmm.
because it was really was just him giving really bad excuses of everything that was going on, and none of the
Mhm.
excuses kind of made any sense, and you can tell it was just him trying to talk through the quote unquote talk through issues that like talk around issues that were
It
happening.
was almost like a politician,
It was very like political, and it
except
was
it was
so
very unstructured,
very
unstructured.
yeah,
But go ahead.
to listen to and go, oh my God, he's not actually answering any of these questions. What is the point in this? And I was skipping through and I was just looking for the guy's questions and then see if he would answer. He would never fucking answer any of the questions, and I'm like, next. And I had the hardest time just paying attention. I couldn't watch the whole thing from beginning to end because it was
Mhm.
just so bad. So bad, beyond bad.
Yeah, I sat there and watched the entire thing, like from
I
beginning to
still
end.
100% think that this whole thing is just a giant fraud. And
Hmm.
Mhm.
he's just like a con artist, and
Mm.
there is no game that's gonna because
Yeah,
you cannot tell me that you cannot at least give some kind of trailer.
yeah.
I even left the comment, and it got a lot of obviously, you know how Twitter can be. It got a lot of hate whenever you comment and people don't agree with it. But I left the comment on Blue Box Twitter a very long time ago after the reveal of the Dead Space developer diary. The
Yeah.
new Dead Space remake, you know, is going to come out whenever it's ready to come out, but it looks gorgeous and not even near finished, and yet the company who's working on Dead Space right now took it upon themselves to be like, "Hey, let's show you what we have so far." Just to show you. Keep in mind, it's not finished, nowhere near finish. It's bare bones. We're literally just going to show you the engine running, and we're just going to show you a little bit of what's under the hood. Like just a little tidbit of it, and it still looked great. They talked about what they were going to work on. They talked about how the graphics were going to be, the fog system, the lighting system, all that stuff was gorgeous.
Mhm.
And I made that a point on their Twitter
That's a g-
page. Like this company, keep in mind, like I understand this company probably has a few more members than Blue Box does, but Blue Box has been working on this game for the past 2 years, possibly even more, and they have literally nothing to show for it.
yeah. I mean,
I
and Dead Space. I don't think you can kind of compare Dead Space because they have they has bare bones to work with at least, you know. But there are the companies that like Returnal. You know, when Returnal first got announced that this fucking game, this this game was coming out, they had footage of a fucking trailer and things about it. There was information about how there's gonna be this fucking crazy game that is gonna be the ultimate. Fuck, what do they call those? Those I'm tired. What do they call those fucking Returnal games?
Um,
The genre.
Roguelites.
Roguelike. It's gonna be this ultimate roguelike that people are gonna get back into, and it's all they kept talking about. You know, roguelike. It brought the fucking roguelike term back to even before the game actually came out, and people knew exactly what it was,
Hmm.
right? And everybody knew, and they saw some stuff. They had a main character. They showed a main character. They had even like a brief, not a storyline, but like a tease of what could be the story. And that's the problem, and this is the same low budget. Like I feel like that Returnal game is very on a similar level of what this Abandon would be. It's not from this huge fucking brand. It's
Hmm.
not from this giant studio. You know, so much smaller studio that the smaller games
Mhm.
and like just like this one, mostly worked on mobile games and small type games like
Well,
this.
see, that's a good point because they worked on a lot of small games that ended up, you know, now there's this new term that people use. It's called a triple A indie game, and that's
Yeah,
what Returnal was. And that's why it's no excuse for Hassan
yeah. But then there's
to
another problem.
have this game the way that it is because he has experience with making other games, quote unquote. And even though they failed, he's been working on games for years and he's still
But
failing.
he has a very similar. They had similar questions about some of the other games that were supposed to come out. Oh, he's like, oh, it
Yeah,
was supposed to come out on mobile, but then, you know, we saw that it didn't really fit that atmosphere, so then we were gonna release it on Steam, and we
right.
just thought if we released it on Steam, then it would not, the people who invested and put so much time wouldn't the people who didn't invest or put any time into this game wouldn't understand because this game is not fully made yet. And it would be some rendering issues here, some missing parts here, and only the people who truly get it, they're the people, the people who invested, they're the ones who got first access and only access to this game. It's like, okay, so a bunch of imaginary fucking people got access to a game that don't exist. Good
Mm-hmm.
job.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this makes no fucking sense. Like, why would you not want to make money? If you put whatever this was on Steam and just to get some word of mouth, people would have bought it, paid for it, get you a little extra money, a little funding so you can put this out. You don't have an idea. You don't have anything. And that's
Speaking
what the
speaking speaking of that, he even said in the interview that they're working on a playable prologue. He says it's not a demo because it's gonna have a price point to it. So he doesn't know how much it's gonna be, but he says it's a 1 or 2 hour playable prologue that you have to pay for in order to play. Like you're
but honestly,
I hear
and
my echo.
Uh,
I don't know who
Go
you're
ahead.
hearing it from.
Go ahead, Danny.
And honestly, that I don't. Yes, it ultimately it does suck and it's stupid. But I wouldn't even mind that at least something would have came out. You know what I mean?
mm,
I
It's
all I
something,
want is a trailer.
but
The
and it's
bare
fine. And
minimum.
if
That's
you
what people want is at least
and
a
I don't understand,
trailer.
and that's the part. And you can easily do. It doesn't have the trailer doesn't have to fucking have gameplay.
Exactly. Thank
You
you.
know, and like Logan did it. Like
Uh huh.
Spider-Man did it. All these fucking games, and that's how they usually get people to get to work on the game by showing off this thing. And the fact that they can't do that is so suspect. And the fact that they'll give an excuse on why they're not doing it is so suspect. And it's never actually this thing's not coming out. I don't actually think they have a game yet. I think they're working on an idea. I don't think they have one. They
Kevin,
keep talking about how he
yeah.
keeps talking these vague things of like, oh yeah, we're
all
gonna be able to
vague.
do all
Yeah.
these crazy things
Oh,
in our game, but it's
Kevin,
just
Kevin,
too vague to make any
did
sense.
you have more thoughts?
I didn't even get my thought
Yeah.
yet. So, you guys hit most of the points, and what he said that was very sus, and it is like, what had me confused was when he said if you bought Abandon, if you pre-ordered Abandon, you're gonna get the prologue for free, and I'm like, how the fuck would you
No.
know?
No, he said that if you
No,
buy
no, no.
Abandon, you would get one of their previous games that they had worked on for free, which is
I
a
but he
canceled game
no, but he also I swear to you he said that, and I was listening to
in
it,
the
and I was like,
interview.
yeah, in the interview,
Okay.
he said that, and then he changed it later on, and I was like,
Ah,
"What?" Yeah, so I was confused. I was like, "Is it? Do I buy Abandon and then I get the prologue for free, or do I have to buy the prologue and then I get Abandon for free, or do I just get Abandon and then I get a game that I never even heard of or asked for?" And I
mm.
every time that he was talking, I felt irritated. Like I literally sat through my lunch break to watch this entire interview,
And Colin
and
Colin didn't even ask that many questions because
and
Yeah,
he
he did it,
stammered through a lot because of
yeah,
it. Hassan.
and he would
yeah.
jump. He would, and that's how the part that really got me. You ask him questions. So what's going on? Like it's simple. What's going on in Abandon? Oh yeah, Abandon is it's just like our other game that we had on our
Yeah.
mobile, and that game is,
Well,
and then
first you got to understand that I was really
yeah,
stressed out over this, and so and
Yeah,
and he started on his fucking tangent about that had nothing to do with the question. And I'm like,
can
holy fuck, he's not gonna answer any of these questions. What's the point?
yeah,
can I tell you what tangent pissed me the fuck off the most?
uh-huh.
The goddamn fucking timeline one. I'm like, bro, shut up.
Of
Just
the of
answer
his previous
the
games?
previous games. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, why are you making a timeline on something we don't care about? Like,
Yeah.
talk about the
And
games that we're
that wasn't a
interested
question that was asked. I think he was just asking like why was specifically
in.
Abandoned, why was Abandoned delayed as long as it has without hearing about it at all?
And he's like, let me just explain the timeline. So the timeline is if you go
Yeah.
to the bathroom, right, and then you wash your hands, and then you think about eating a cheeseburger. I'm like, bro, what are you talking like I've never been so confused in an interview in my life till I watched it, and I was like, he's stumbling through the question. He's not answering the question, and then he's dodging the question.
Mhm, mhm,
And I'm
mhm. But
and I was getting
go ahead,
uh
go ahead.
and I was getting confused because I was like, it doesn't make sense that he asks you a straightforward question: Why did the bandit get delayed? I don't have a lot of team, and I'm trying to figure out the funding
And who
situation.
the fuck?
But it's
Not
like,
one name was mentioned. Not one
I,
name. Like nobody knows who his team is, and he talked about his team quite a few times. And he
yeah,
says that they're
and
outsourcing some of their team, some to some other developers in order to help them out with this game. So okay, so you're telling me Blue Box has, let's say, 9 people on their team, and they're still outsourcing to other companies. Why haven't we heard from these other companies? Why haven't we seen any assets? Why haven't we seen? We haven't even seen. So screw the trailers. Even if you want to add a CGI trailer, even if they don't even have the resources to do that, why haven't we had any legit screenshots of the game yet? We don't even have screenshots of the game. We have concepts for the game, not actual screenshots of footage. Nothing like that. So he talks about outsourcing, but we don't even know like who these outsourcing partners are. And not to mention this is the part that pissed me off the most was, again, I mentioned before, he has years of experience working with games. Yes, they are failures, but I'm trying to look past that. So he has all this experience making games, and he says that he doesn't have any experience marketing. He has no experience trying to promote a game. He has no experience with all that stuff. So he admits that he's messing up. And then he goes on and says, I'm scared to release anything about this game because I'm worried about what people will say.
bro,
That
I,
that that was when I had like this mental meltdown of like, this guy has all the excuses in the world.
I like, and what killed me is that like him saying all that stuff and him having this gorgeous game that he was talking about. I've seen developers. I'm the developer of what is it? Hold on, I just had the game now. Of Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. It's like the Jet Set Radio,
Yeah.
like successor.
Hmm.
Um, the developer streams him fucking with the game, like the how things look and everything. And I was like, bro, I something you have to give us some kind of concept or like or show us something so that we can believe it. Even when the interviewer said like I'll see, we're all at that stage that like we'll believe it when we see it. And he didn't even. It was like, oh, he's like, oh yeah, I got off free, like scot free or some shit. And I'm like, oh man, you are. I am not going in. I
So
was not looking forward to this game, so I'm really not looking forward to
here's
this game
here's the
now.
here's the funny thing. So I wanted to talk about his Twitter feed because he still has his actual personal Twitter. If you guys want to look him up, Hasan Kahraman. His name is spelled up there if you guys want to spell his name properly. So he still has a Twitter separate from the Blue Box Twitter, Blue Box Studios. And after the interview was done, I was thinking in my head, oh man, this guy's probably just thinking, oh, successful interview. Oh, I've done such a good job. And then I see Twitter feed everywhere just bashing the interview the entire time. Went into Hasan's Twitter feed and he posts this quote. Okay, so I did not do a good job doing the interview, but come on, guys, give me a break. This is my first ongoing interview. It was a mess. I had no overview what I wanted to say, and Colin asks a question, and I answered a question. Like, who is funding the project, and talk about the prologue. Basically, what I wanted to say was that the project is self funded and that the prologue is used to further self fund the game. And for those thinking I'm an actor, just know I am who I say I am. There is no other truth than this.
All right,
That
Stan.
that's pretty much the end of that. So of course I'm gonna go through some of the comments and stuff like that to see how people replied to this. And he says here, you said spend 30K on this game you're making. I bet you got the money from Sony PlayStation. What waste money we'll spend? I don't know. He's not writing proper English, but Hasan says 30K for outsourcing work, and no, we did not receive funding from Sony at all. If that was the case, we wouldn't be in the situation and would have received guidance from them. But instead, we are on our own. So yet another person says here, usually when people go for an interview, they prepare for it. And it's not like you are relying information secondhand. You were the creator of this game and therefore the authority of this game. You should at least be semi confident in what you're saying. Give us a break. And then Hasan replies, "Yes, I had no preparation. And you know why? I wanted to be authentic by telling the truth as it is without prep." Those are his excuses.
Okay, can I answer the second tweet?
Yeah.
Bro, you were authentic, but still gave no answer. How the fuck? I'm confused.
You hold all the cards. You are the main source and you still didn't answer a damn thing.
My man's had a fast break. Nobody guarded him and still dropped the ball. I'm fucking confused. I've never seen something so horrible. It's like watching a train wreck
Mhm.
that you can't look away from. And I'm like, come on, just give us something. Like I thought he was gonna pull like like oh, I don't have anything, but this is what we have so far, and then boom, shatters everybody's expectation.
Yeah.
He didn't even do that. Like
Honestly,
him
go ahead.
him saying like it's a personal project. I'm like every game that every developer makes is a personal project.
Yeah. And they still all
Just shut the
handle it a lot more better than he has.
yeah. I'm like shut the fuck up. You were complaining for no reason. Honestly.
Honestly, he at this, like, even before the interview, they would have benefited from disappearing and
Yeah.
literally just not doing any social media, any marketing, just focus on the game until at the very least there is like a playable demo, let's say for example.
Yeah.
And then they can start talking about the game.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And then they could
Like
start marketing and then they could start doing some social media stuff. But he still continues even after the Silent Hill stuff, even after the Kojima stuff, they still continue to try to
mhm,
quote market the game and fail because they have nothing to show for. Even before this interview, maybe about,
mhm,
I would probably say 3 weeks before this interview occurred,
mhm.
Blue Box Twitter had posted up asking, "What do you guys think of your opinion on this?" And in fact, let me see if I can try to look it up here. They wanted to ask the community's opinion. I'm hearing background noise.
That's my mom speaking Spanish.
Okay.
Sorry.
They wanted, okay, here it is. On the Twitter feed, they said, "Do you want us to show development footage of abandoned prologue?" So they wanted to take a poll to ask the community if they wanted the community to see footage of the prologue.
This
Like, why? Why couldn't you just make the prologue?
Yeah.
And then show off a clip of it or just release it or whatever, even just, as I said, screenshots. But instead you still want to dig your hole even deeper, come out of the shadows and be like, "Hey, what do you guys think of us showing off something soon?" And then what they're going to do, I promise you they're going to do this, is just take the poll and then disappear again, and then you hear nothing.
you know what they sound like? They sound like my dad when he went to go get milk.
Yeah. Yeah, but the difference is your dad will come back in like 6 months and then say, "I'm gonna go out and get milk again."
I'm gonna get a
Like
pack of
that's first I'm gonna go get milk. I'm gonna show up 4 months later. Now I'm gonna go get a pack of cigarettes. I'll show up another 4 months later. Like that's pretty much it.
No, it's just disappointing. It's just a waste of time, honestly.
Yeah,
I think
I
people need to
I
stop giving this guy fucking any kind of recognition or fucking
Well, the thing
um.
is, so here's the thing. Like, actually, that is another question that I wanted to talk about because I talk about this a lot, and it fascinates me, and if it frustrates me, it pisses me off, but it fascinates me honestly, and it's because I feel like it's a scam, and I'm intrigued with not necessarily them exactly, but how people tend to react towards it. Like there's a lot of people that are like still super excited and supportive for a game that doesn't exist versus a lot of people just like, "Oh, this is just a scam. This is someone lying to you. He's trying to steal your money," and yet they still follow. They still try to research the company. They're still like very much deep into this kind of thing. It's kind of like, because I love conspiracy theories in general, so even
Mhm.
though I know a lot of conspiracy theories are ridiculous and unrealistic as hell, it still fascinates me. And this is
Hmm.
kind of like along those lines. So it's kind of like, how far will this go? How far are they going to allow this person to go before he eventually gets caught with whatever it is that he's doing?
Yeah.
So
I
I don't,
don't.
what is your opinion on that? Like, do you think we should be giving him
See,
attention to kind of like not necessarily so he can finally get this game going, but kind of like so he can finally just get caught?
I think I don't think he's gonna get caught. I think he's gonna get funding, get GoFundMe, because that's what he's fucking getting right now. That's why he keeps doing this.
Well, it's
I mean,
not it's
that's
not
where I think that's where the scam is. I think
he's
he's
not doing
collecting money for
kickstarting.
something.
He's not doing
But
kickstarting.
he must be.
He
Well,
says
he
he has
says.
investors.
Are you really believing what he says?
I
Really?
believe he has investors. I just think that he's probably going to take the money and run.
That's what I'm
Mhm.
saying. I believe he's getting money, whether it's some type of Kickstarter or investor, whatever it is, and
Mhm.
he's trying to just hold it as much as he can and collect as much money as he can from them, and say, "Hey, I need more money for this. Need more money for this. Need more money
Right.
for that," and then eventually he's just gonna fucking disappear.
Yeah.
Um, or wind up on or wind up quitting, which
Well,
was
here's
good
the
in the
thing
past.
though, because a lot of the argument is that they think that he's gonna take all the money and run. Well, sorry, not take all the money and run. He's gonna take all the money and then cancel the game, and then
Yeah,
he's not expected to pay the money back. But he is. He is expected to pay the money back if the game is canceled because contractually, whoever the investors are, they expect their money back and then some. So
Mhm.
if the game is canceled, Hassan or Blue Box is expected to bring the money back. But of course, the theory is that Hassan could easily just disappear.
but again,
And
if he gets kicked off if the project is canceled because the investors back out, then it's
yes,
different.
yes.
Usually, if investors back out, whatever money they were putting in, that's it. They know they lost, and they cut their ties and keep it going. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
that's what I think is gonna end up happening. I think he's holding off, waiting till that to happen, and then he's gonna go on to his next project and start this all over again until he gets caught or nobody wants to invest with him anymore.
Yeah.
Mm,
Because this seems to be his MO, of investing. I mean, starting projects that don't exist.
You know.
That's been his new MO lately, and he might have had some fails and said, "Fuck it, you know what? I don't wanna. I'm just not good enough to do this right now." But I don't know.
hmm
You know.
Kevin.
You know what I just want to answer this question with a wager. What do you think of the chances of this game coming out or the Jesus Christ game coming out?
The Jesus Christ game is fake, and no one wants to believe me that it's
April
fake.
was
No,
Like,
April Fools. It was
uh,
April Fools
no,
joke,
it's not
right?
an April Fool's joke. It's a
it was
legit.
before. It was before.
So it's by a, and there's already been research and videos about this, but there is a development company out there that is Christian based, and what they do, all they do is that they say they're releasing a game and show like this alpha footage or whatever it is, which is not even real gameplay. It's literally just a CGI that looks like gameplay, but it's not. And they've made things like Pope Simulator. They've made other biblical titles, and
Hmm.
all these are meant to be for is to bring awareness to the Christian faith. That's all
Hmm.
that they use it for. So this whole Jesus Christ simulator thing is the same thing. That's all they're doing with it is just to bring awareness to it so they can get some recognition and hopefully bring some more people, to the churches or whatnot. But
So,
but
so, so,
there's never gonna, I guarantee you 100% there's never gonna be a Jesus Christ game because it is fake. It's 100% fake.
doesn't this sound like abandoned?
I don't know, man. I'm like 90, I'm like 90-10, like
All right.
with my opinion on that. I'm like 90% sure the game is fake, but there's still that 10% where it's just like, man, I could possibly be wrong about this. And
Yeah,
It
maybe
I'm gonna make.
it could be a big aspect of the game is really fucking bad, and he knows it, and
yeah,
it's not an actual. It's
Hmm.
nothing what people think, and they build it up so much, and it's been built up so much because of publicity or whatever it is that he
Hmm.
knows he can't
live up to it.
Back out now.
live up to what it is, and he doesn't know how to get to that level right now.
I don't
You
know.
know.
I don't know. That's still not an excuse. Like if this was such a big passion project for you, if this game was such a big deal for you, then you would be continuing it no matter what, and just finish the
It'd be
game and be done
something you
with
have
it.
to if you're such a passion and you're proud of this game, it has to be something you'll be proud of.
Yeah, and you
You
need
know,
something
don't make
in
it
your
hurt the.
portfolio. You need something. You need something solid in your portfolio. It could be a complete bomb of a game, and
Hmm.
but at least you have a game in your portfolio that's completed and released, so you can continue and move on to something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you have
Um.
nothing but canceled games on your portfolio, like what does that say about you?
Hmm.
Nah. I'm still going with my wager. It's either that or the Jesus Christ
The
game.
Jesus game?
Because
I,
my thing is,
neither one's
yeah,
coming out
neither one's coming out, but at least I'm hopeful
of the
for
Jesus
the
game.
next. Yeah, for the G, because I know it's not real. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? With Abandon, it's like we know enough to realize that this man is he's not giving any solid information, and he's not uh consistent with his information. Like even with interviews or anything, he's not consistent. So it's hard to believe somebody when all you have is failure after failure of games, or like canceled or canceled. It you can't have people believe you like that. And then all the conspiracy and everything. Like I feel like the only thing he debunked was the Kojima thing, and that was it. That was like out of the
yeah,
entire interview.
yeah.
That was the
He
only thing he debunked. And I
he honestly admitted it was a mistake to mention Silent Hill and Kojima, but
yeah,
he's not affiliated with them whatsoever. That was pretty much the only answers we got.
and I was like, wow. And then I was explaining this to somebody. Like I was like, I wasted 25 minutes of my life watching an interview that I only got one answer
Hmm.
the entire interview. I was like, I could have just went back to work after.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I could just
it,
imagine like some of the fans out there, they're watching the interview and they're like, "Oh, that makes so much more sense now. Yes, yes. Oh, I'm so sorry, Hassan, man. I'm sorry we doubted you." Like, no, no. And there are still people like that. Like I still go through their Twitter all the time, and I read through their comments, and they're all just like, "Oh, don't listen to all the naysayers. We look forward to your game. We look forward to what you have for us." And I'm just like, oh, God,
well, they're believers. I'm telling you, man. And I,
this is some crazy blind faith you guys got.
nah, that's a cult. It's a cult at this
It's
point.
a the blue box cult.
Oh,
Oh,
box call. Yeah.
Yeah,
where all your dreams never come true, but you have faith. I
man.
believe it's a personal, and then and the quote is just it's a personal project. I did what
That's funny.
one one
So,
day one.
do we have any final thoughts before we close up the show?
Oh man,
Mhm.
Yeah. So see that's pretty much it. Yeah, it was just us venting and stuff.
oh,
And just what happened?
I have one more thing.
Yeah.
So going back to the House of the Dead thing, because I want to get this taste of Blue Box out my mouth. The same company that made this one is making the next one, and I'm guessing they're
Mm.
making the third one as well. If they keep this mechanic, I'm probably not going to buy it.
Wait till the next one comes out after a while and see if you can get some community responses for it before you waste your money.
No, because I two is my favorite. Like
Yeah,
this is
but
by far my
it
favorite.
still might be a complete flop.
Okay,
I mean,
yeah,
that's what I would do.
I I would think that, but then I knowing myself, I'm not going to do that because I like the first hand experience. Like if the game is shit, it's shit. But I definitely am looking forward to how they make two. I hope it looks prettier than one because one doesn't look it doesn't look great and it doesn't run great. So that's the whole thing, and the mechanics for it make it more difficult.
Hmm.
But yeah, at least I can hope for that one. You know, I can hope for that game, and I know it's going to be real, even though I don't want it to be.
Yeah, and Max Payne will be real.
And
Yeah.
Max Payne is real.
So yeah, so I mean, we'll see how that goes. And I was gonna say before, we could be completely wrong about all this, and it's still okay that we're completely wrong. The game comes out, and it might be the biggest fucking game in the entire world. I'm sure if it does actually happen, it'll happen like 5 years from now. But if we're wrong, we're wrong. But that's just the way we feel about it. So so we'll end the show with there. don't forget, guys, you can check out gamerguardians.net for any of the previous shows, as well as game reviews for the coalition that I do. And Boneless Bones, you been streaming?
Absolutely not.
Still haven't been. I know you had some issues before, but yeah, Boneless Bones does some fighting game streaming and stuff like that. I mean, if anything, what
uh,
about your Twitter? What's your Twitter?
oh, same thing. Boneless Bones. I think it's underscore TV. Man, I use Twitter every day and I forgot my Twitter. Hold on. Boom. Yeah, it's just Boneless Bones. You can follow me there. I do absolutely nothing but shit posts and respond to messages from people. Uh, I'm gonna eventually start streaming. I'm doing my second run in Elden Ring. Sorry, I haven't streamed it. I've just been enjoying that game way too much to stream it. And yeah, I'll get to it whenever. And same with the YouTube. The YouTube, it's a lot, man. It's a lot
Yeah,
going on,
no, I get it.
and yeah, and
That's
it's
why
hard to juggle.
that's why like I have the YouTube and the TikTok and the Instagram and all that stuff, and to be honest, I don't post almost at all, and that's mostly because I have five
I
classes to deal with plus work, and I'm sure you're just as busy with work and other issues, so it's just like life
yeah.
just gets in the way.
Nah, eventually I'll get back into streaming and posting videos on YouTube. I was thinking of a concept while I was at work,
Hmm.
and then I immediately got sidetracked and forgot what the fuck the idea was. But at least I'm thinking.
Yeah,
you could
yeah,
you could write that. You could jot that one down on a
yeah.
quote. At least I'm thinking.
I know.
And
Go
huh?
ahead.
No,
No.
and I was gonna say like eventually I'll get back to it. Don't
Okay.
know when, but hopefully soon.
Okay. I was just gonna say I know once school is done, I'm gonna go a lot harder when it comes to
Gaming.
making more content. Like yeah, not necessarily streaming. I'm not really crazy about streaming because I'm not a very entertaining guy when it comes to that kind of stuff. And I know that. I like to talk and I like to talk about the industry and the news and stuff like that and give my opinion. I think that's my strongest uh I guess talent, as you can say. I don't know, but so that's something I plan to do is just give a lot more content. But that's like after 2022, like when school is done and I can finally settle down and plan that kind of stuff out. So yeah.
So 2027 stream, right?
I mean, I'll still stream. I'm just not gonna put a lot of effort into like trying to go wild and crazy with entertaining and stuff, and that's mostly because I'm very much an introvert. I'm not out there to do some belly dancing for you and do a lot of stupid stunts and pranks and a lot of like talking just because you need to talk. Like I'm not that type of person. If I'm gonna talk, it's gonna be something that I really want to say or do. So yeah,
you know,
streaming is not really my thing for that.
you know what I realized? The more you get older, the less you want to talk to people.
Yeah, and
And
that's another thing too. Yeah, and as a bartender, for for almost 9 years now, like I don't need to entertain more people. I don't
you,
like. I
you
want
know,
to. I want to chill at home.
you know, it's funny. Somebody's like, "Why won't you become a bartender?" I was like, number one answer, it's easy. I hate people.
I hate
That's
people.
it. I hate people. That's it. That's all you need. I don't need another answer. You think I want to
Yeah,
talk to people? And then they're like,
man.
"Why are you talking to
If
me?"
if the name Gamer Grumps wasn't taken, we probably
Uh,
should have done that shit.
game
Game
isolated
Grumps,
people. Game
isolated Grumps.
grumps. How the fuck do
Yeah,
you
because
open this?
all of
I
us,
feel
all of us is just like, yeah, screw people.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sober got me into the mindset of like, if I don't have to talk to you, I don't, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
go out of my
Yeah.
way to. I was like, nah,
All
keeping
right.
it honest.
So that ends the show, guys. Thank you for joining us, everybody in chat. Huertas, thank you for joining us in chat, and everybody else listening. Be sure to check out the website as mentioned before, and we'll see you guys next week. Maybe we'll play some games right after the show, and maybe we'll stream, maybe we'll not. We'll see how it goes. But subscribe and follow us, anyways. All right. Bye.
Hell yeah.
Peace.
Later.